What's up, YouTube? My name is Bill. This is KO Bets. Welcome to the stream. We've got an amazing card ahead of us tomorrow, UFC 278. This is my pick and prediction show. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Oh, I can see I'm like screaming into this thing. Please subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified every time I go live. Typically, it's on Fridays before fights. I'll probably get into some NFL content, so I'll maybe do a Sunday morning stream as well. We'll just keep it live. I love doing it this way. You can comment on the video. You can comment while I'm streaming. I love interacting with people when they leave a comment. And also, I'm doing an NFT giveaway, so when you subscribe to the channel, you'll qualify for a chance to win a UFC strike moment. I'm going to give away a random UFC strike moment to a random subscriber. Actually, the moment won't be random. The subscriber will be random. So we're at 41 subscribers the last time I checked. I just want to verify that's right. Stay current, stay accurate, right? Yeah, we're at 41 subscribers. So at 50, I'll give away a moment. I lowered the threshold a little bit from 100. We'll do another one at 100 and just keep doing them on occasion. Just a little way to give back. So yeah, that's the NFT update. Last week, one of my buddies, he had a really nice weekend betting on the fights. For me and my picks, not so much. Started off Odi Osborne, Tyson Nam, just absolutely crushed him, right? Really good fight and I did like Odi Osborne. I don't think we put him in any sort of parlays or anything last week, but he was a heavy favorite that I picked, and we even mentioned Tyson Nam. He could be live for that KO. So if you're not already, you can see it in the right up here. You can follow me on Twitter. I'll post some pics always on fight day, parlays, whatever. Let's see, Lupi Godinez. Not good. Bruno Silva. Not good. And then I pretty much think I sat it out until Marlon Vera. Priscilla Cachoeira. Great round 1 KO. Yeah, just not the best week, but we're going to bounce back this week. We were hot a couple weeks going into last week, so we're going to recapture that fire this week. So without further ado, let's get into the fights. We got some fights to preview. Web stream. Alright, I'm not seeing it on my screen, so let's make sure. Hey, Ryan. Yeah, there we go. I'm super pumped up about my new setup. I didn't mention that, but back in May I mentioned I was kind of saving up to upgrade the setup a little bit. I thought it was important. My audience deserves the best quality shit, and I think we're delivering. We're building towards that. So a little bit different look. I've got a desktop computer, and I'm super happy about it. And it was paid for with picks that I made in previous fights, so that's pretty cool to say too. Kind of used those picks and invested back into the show. All right, first fight of the night we've got. So first of all, UFC 278, Usman versus Edwards 2, taking place tomorrow in Salt Lake City, Utah. The prelims, the early prelims, they start at 5 p.m. Prelims 7 p.m. The main card 9 p.m. Central Time. What's up, Robert? Thanks for that, Bobby. So first fight of the night, we've got Daniel De Silva taking on Victor Altamirano. Daniel De Silva, he is 0-2 in the UFC. He's had 2 fights that have ended inside the distance. One of the fights, he started off looking pretty well in the first round, and then I think his last fight, he lost to Davidson Figueiredo. No, not Davidson. Francisco, the one who's fighting on this card with him. And he lost in the first round due to a submission. So, I mean, he's 11-3. He's 0-2 in the UFC. I would say the only thing I know about him at this point is maybe his cardio is not tremendous. He did tire out in his debut bout. Both fighters, if we're looking at the stats here, they're very hittable. Victor Altamirano, he's 0-1 in the UFC. He had a tough debut, I want to say. Who did he fight? This new layout's a little weird. Hernandez fought to a split decision. Yeah, so, I mean, Altamirano, both fighters, they're hittable on the feet if we're looking at, the significant strikes here. You can see they're both hittable. Poor defense. I would say Victor's going to have the better gas tank here. De Silva's going to be the guy who's probably going to be most dangerous early, in my opinion. As far as grappling, so Victor, really bad takedown defense. He gets taken down. He can bounce back up, but I don't know if De Silva's maybe landing late round takedowns, or if he gets an early stoppage, I could see him winning. But I think on the money line prediction, I'm rolling with the favorite, Victor. It shows it there. You can see the odds there. We'll go to DraftKings though. I'm not sponsored by DraftKings, but you know what? If my Bovada credits were pushed over to here, and Ryan can talk about this too, we'd be sponsored either by DraftKings or Gambler's Addiction. So we can see Victor's the favorite here at -170. Daniel De Silva +175. Underdog. I would say the odds makers like this one to go the distance under fight props. Let's see what Vegas thinks. So they think no. I guess that is, we have seen Lacerda 2 inside the distance losses in the UFC. Could he get tired? Could he get submitted late? I kind of agree with that. Maybe this is a fight where I'm sprinkling in Victor on the money line for a round robin, but as far as the winning method, they like the submission. Yeah, Daniel De Silva, just goes a little too hard in the first round, bees his L a little too early and punches himself out of the fight. That could happen, and then Victor would get the submission. That's interesting. Maybe we could do a fight parlay, but the unders, the winner, the money line and under is typically only a round and a half, and I don't like that. That's playing it a little too close. Maybe winner. Oh, here, alternate round betting. 3-rounder decision for Victor, +250. Maybe. This would be not in a round robin. This would be maybe just something I'm thinking about sprinkling to, just for fun. But I like Victor on the money line. not gonna include this one in any sort of parlays. Just not worth it in my opinion. Ai Quenling taking on Jay Perrin. Ayori is we've seen he had it. So he was 0-2 in the UFC. I think he was fighting at 125. Now he's up to 135. Looked really good his last fight. Also has solid experience. His 2 losses, Cody Durden and Jeff Molina. Jay Perrin coming into this fight, it says, he's 0-1 here for some reason, his record. He is 10-5 professionally. He's 0-1 in the UFC. He did okay early against Batista in his debut, but then just kind of tired out. If we're looking at the striking, you got to give it to Ayori. He's a nice boxer. He looked very, very good in his last fight. You have to give him the striking advantage. As far as grappling, I would give it to Jay Perrin. I think if he's going to win this fight, it's with grappling. If he can put together a solid game plan where he's, scoring consistent takedowns, he could probably beat Ayori. But on the money line prediction, I'm rolling with Ayori. I think he can hurt Jay Perrin and maybe deter some of those takedown attempts. Like I said, really slick boxing. I think Ayori's kind of underrated. He was really big for 125. He's about, he's a similar size to Jay for this division. I'm gonna roll with Ayori on the money line. If I had to choose a method of victory, I kind of like going on SureDog. I just want to see, because there are a couple of I've got ad blocker on, so they want me to. Yeah, right. We're keeping ad blocker on. UFC events. 5 losses, 4 decisions, 1 submission, never been knocked out. Mario Batista, he's a powerful striker. Yeah, we saw that. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. The flying knee against Miles Johns was kind of crazy. I don't know. Ayori's probably a better boxer than Mario, but Mario's explosive and dangerous. Ayori, on the other hand, what's his methods of decisions? I think Ayori. So I'm going with him on the money line. So I guess I think he's gonna box him. Odds makers like this one to go the distance. It could be a safe bet. What did Ayori do last fight? Yeah, he KO'd his opponent in round 1. But this was... Who the fuck is this guy, right? Kyler Phillips and then Ayori. It's a rough... couple of rough first fights. But, I wouldn't... So I would say we could eliminate, obviously the submission, I think, for Ayori. But our odds aren't improved much from 135 to 1. Okay, so it's the exact same. So just going to probably do a money line, little wager on him for the round robin. Nothing I would parlay again. Amir AlBazi taking on Francisco Figueiredo. You look at these names, and then I realize the first time I'm pronouncing them is on stream sometimes, and it's kind of fucked up. Amir AlBazi taking on Francisco Figueiredo. Amir is 14-1. Francisco 13-4. In the UFC, Amir is 2-0. Francisco 2-1. Francisco has kind of poor cardio, decent jiu-jitsu. That's probably his strength, I would say. Is most dangerous early with his striking. Has poor cardio. Amir AlBazi, excellent cardio, good pressure. He's 2-0 in the UFC. Good wrestling. He's the heavy favorite at -475. I think Francisco's just been, for the most part, underwhelming. He did get the chokeout victory against Lacerda, but his other opponents, they weren't. Let's see. Yeah, got the submission win. Gordon beat him, and Gordon was a huge underdog in that fight. And then he beat, decision against Jerome Rivera, who I don't know if he's in the UFC still. But Amir AlBazi, I think I'm going to roll with him. Like his pressure, like his control. Francisco's going to be most dangerous early. -460 odds. I think it's worse in DraftKings. Let's go to Amir here. -475 for Amir AlBazi. I think it's one of those things like I don't know necessarily if Amir AlBazi's going to get him out, round one kind of a thing. Like he's had Malcolm Gordon, he had a round one triangle against him. He's had some early submission wins. I'm not super confident that he's going to pull that off against Francisco, who is just, it seems like a sprinter and most dangerous early. And also a good jiu-jitsu artist in his own right. So I think, while he's got energy and the strength to defend stuff, he can kind of do that effectively. I think we're looking at probably a late stoppage by Amir AlBazi. Has good ground and pound, has good, pressure with the submissions. Let's see the losses for Francisco. 1 KO loss, 1 submission loss. I'm just thinking of some way we could improve Amir's odds. I like Amir, as potentially a parlay piece. I know that's crazy odds, but I think Woodson's a heavy favorite. You're doing yourself a favor if you like both fighters, right? Just parlaying those crazy odds together. Gosh, I think the way Amir fights and Francisco fights, I'm tempted to do winning method. I'm tempted to do inside the distance, just because I don't think Francisco's going to survive. I think it's going to get bad in the second, and if it's not stopped in the second, it's going to get bad. So maybe I like this KO submission +140. Maybe I'm doing a little bit on that, but it's tough to say. And dude, Twizzy Rich, Miranda, that fight got canceled. Shanna Young, I agree. Miranda was gonna win that, but Shanna Young, she went to the hospital last night because of illness. So yeah, that fight unfortunately got canceled because that would have been like, yeah, and Miranda already had beat her. That would have been for sure a lock. Yeah, it's a big bummer. I agree. It's a bummer. AJ Fletcher taking on Ang Lusa. AJ Fletcher, 0-1 in the UFC, slight favorite in this matchup. He fought Matt Semmelsberger in his debut, went to a decision against him. Really, really tough debut fight. We could see it on the next card. I know last weekend we saw some delayed fights, so we could for sure see it coming up soon. Lusa, he's going to have, you can see here, a pretty big reach advantage. I think for that reason, and Lusa, his output is high here, but that was, I think in his debut, he's definitely more of the big puncher, and you can see he was swinging at a lot of air. But because of that reach, I'm tempted to give Lusa he's going to be dangerous in the striking department. I think the smart move for AJ Fletcher is to get some takedowns in there, tire him out. AJ Fletcher is pretty powerful in the striking department too. But I think the smart thing to do is maybe leg kick Lusa, get some takedowns early, beat him up a little bit with some control, and then ultimately I think we'll probably see this one go the distance. AJ Fletcher, we're looking at his record, 4-4. Wow, 8 finishes, went to the decision. Lusa, 3 decisions. Lusa's he's really strong. He's going to have that reach advantage. If Fletcher's not able to submit, I don't know if I can see Fletcher knocking him out necessarily, but I'm going to go with AJ Fletcher on the money line. I just like that he has grappling in his back pocket, but this is probably one on the money line I would stay away from. Fight props, let's see what Vegas likes. They like this one to go the distance, probably because they like the Fletcher decision. Yeah, plus 150. I think if you like Lusa, you're hoping for that knockout. So I don't think there's any reason to bet money line or decision if you're cheering for Lusa. Fletcher does only have the one loss, and that is a decision. I like AJ Fletcher in this matchup. I like his cardio, his output, and then just the wrestling. I think that's, and he uses it too, right? Against Semmelsberger, he was going for the takedowns. Wasn't necessarily holding them down, but he was going for them. So I like AJ Fletcher in this matchup, minus 150. I would say decision in all likelihood, but minus 165 for the fight to go the distance. What do you think safer? Like the fight to go the distance or Fletcher? I don't know. I'll tweet it out. Whatever I decide to do with this fight, if I decide to do anything with it, I'll let you know what I do. I like AJ Fletcher though. I like him. That reach advantage though, it does scare me a little bit. This next fight, I like Sean Woodson a lot. He's taking on Luis Saldana. Sean Woodson is the favorite. He is on a 2-fight win streak, just crazy tall at 6'2", and coming in here weighing, I think 145, right, is what he's weighing. is just absolutely insane. 78 reach advantage, taking on Luis Saldana, who's coming into this contest. I think Sean Woodson in his boxing, Luis Saldana, he's going to want to grapple in this if he can. Drill low kicks to the calf. It's just, I don't know. Woodson looked very impressive in his last fight. He's rangy. He is a good boxer, and that's tough when he's gonna have a reach advantage over pretty much everyone in this division. That's just gonna, and stylistically, if you're not drilling those takedowns, you can see he's got a low takedown average. It's just not like part of what he does. He likes to strike, he likes to kick. But I like Sean Woodson a lot in this. Sean Woodson, I feel comfortable saying he's a parlay piece for me on this card. I think this matchup is favorable for I'm willing to bet the odds makers don't like this one, so it's a pick'em. Woodson's not he's not really drilling those, overloading on punches and throwing just crazy stuff at his opponents. He's technically sound, and I think he does generate a lot of speed, just with that reach. I wouldn't be surprised if he stopped it inside the distance. Saldana, he has shaky cardio, in my opinion. He also has decent KO prowess. I think maybe there's some value on this fight not going the distance. Or, if we're doing winning method, a KO. Plus 130. I think there might be a little value on that. I would have expected, decision to maybe be the most likely outcome, and it is, but I don't know why they like the decision, to be honest. If we're looking at their wins and losses here, Woodson had the submission loss against Juicy J. Saldana only one knockout loss. I don't know. I think his frame just scares me a little bit, Sean Woodson. Just the frame. He doesn't seem like crazy strong. I'll for sure put Sean Woodson money line into some parlays, but it's tough for me to say definitively which method of victory I like. If we're looking at the KO decision, it's minus 300 instead of minus 350. I mean, it's a slight improvement, right? It's a slight improvement. I mean, you're getting a better bang for your buck for sure. So I like Sean Woodson in that fight. Leonardo Santos taking on Jared Gordon. Leonardo Santos, 42 years old. Kind of shaky cardio in his last couple fights. He had Clay Guida beat. He just kind of punched himself out of the fight in the first round. I don't know how many strikes in a row he landed. I bet you we could look at the significant strikes thrown in that fight, and all of his significant strikes came in that first round combination where he had Clay Guida rocked like 3 times. I mean, there's a lot of referees, they probably don't let that fight go the distance and continue. I mean, that was a little bit unlucky, but he did have shaky cardio against Dawson as well. But I don't know. I don't really fault him for the last fight. He's powerful, explosive, definitely a good striker, but he is 42 years old, and I do think he has shaky cardio at this point. Jared Gordon, he's the slight favorite. He's on a one-fight losing streak, also lost to Dawson. More active fighter. I would give him even if, like, he's okay on the feet, but I think he's going to have a significant advantage in the grappling department. And I think if he's able to survive, whatever early output Leonardo shows, he's going to probably win this fight. I would say a decision, but maybe I could see a submission. Or ground and pound. I would say a decision win for Jared Gordon is what I'm predicting in this fight. Here we go. So Jared Gordon is the favorite at minus 260, plus 220 for Leonardo Santos. I think if you like Leonardo, I would go with some sort of early stoppage. That's just my opinion on the matter. Fight to go the distance. Yeah, I would say I like the decision victory. I think in this case for Gordon, plus 120. It just depends how tired Santos is in the third round, really. So maybe it's like, maybe there's some value on something later. Where's the fight parlays? Here we go. Like maybe, yeah, only minus 110. Man, if it's like plus odds, I would consider that, but I don't know, that's kind of tough. But for Leonardo, like, if you like Leonardo, you gotta think there's value on, something under, like, those are decent odds. Next fight we've got is Marcin Tybura taking on Alexander Romanov. Marcin Tybura, he's heading into this contest on a one-fight losing streak. Just lost to Alexander Volkov. Alexander Romanov, he's on a five-fight win streak in the UFC, 5-0. I don't know. So Tybura definitely has a nice resume, all the experience on his side. He has decent wrestling, and normally I would say that's something he could, use against his opponent, but he is against Alexander Romanov. I think Romanov is going to be the better wrestler. I think he's going to be the most dangerous fighter early in this bout. I think there's a chance he could put away Marcin Tybura. He just seems like an absolute beast. Who did he fight in his last fight? Was that Sergey Spivak? Oh, no, it was Sherman. Submission. Sherman and Vandera, I like... Vandera's... he's not the best so far at the heavyweight division. I think he's still trying to figure out his game plan. But, Sherman and Vandera, obviously not the best competition. Did have a little bit of trouble against Espino. Espino had some decent grappling. And then otherwise, he just hasn't fought anyone like Tybura yet, is what I'm trying to get at. I do like Alexander Romanov in this fight. That will be my money line prediction, but at minus 340, that is just... I think that's tough. And if we're looking at Tybura, he's had a lot of success against, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but we see Sergey Spivak here, So if Romanov is explosive early and catches him with something, I wouldn't be surprised. But then I also wouldn't be surprised if this fight goes to a decision and it plays out fairly close. Just because Tybura's wrestling and ability to keep this fight standing, and I think Tybura would probably give a slight edge as far as the grappling. Romanov did look he can always come in looking in really good shape, but I think just historically what we've seen from Romanov, I would expect Tybura to have a especially if he's stuffing takedowns and Romanov's wasting energy trying to score those, the fight could swing into Tybura's favor. I would say I like, this might honestly just be a fight I avoid betting on. I really don't know what to expect. I think this is a really good matchup, and I think the plus 285 odds for Tybura are, we're locking eyes, and it's making sense as I'm sipping this beer. But I want to be right? I don't want to be I want to be correct in my prediction. So I'm going to go with Alexander Romanov. He shows up in shape. He shows his cardio isn't an issue, and he pushes a ferocious pace and ends up beating Tybura inside the distance. But yeah, I think I need to avoid that fight. Tyson Pedro taking on Harry Hunsucker. Tyson Pedro 8-3, Harry 7-5. Harry's going from heavyweight down to 205. This is the biggest odds discrepancy on the card. You can see here, minus 730. It might even be worse on DraftKings in favor of Tyson Pedro, who came back and looked really, really good against Villanueva in his return fight after some time off. He's a good jiu-jitsu artist, had really good low kicks, and does have some power in the striking department. Harry Hunsucker, he's just going to throw bombs, and he's going to tire out quickly. That's kind of his MO. And maybe going from heavyweight to light heavyweight, he's a different fighter, but I think it's going to be tough to hang money on Harry Hunsucker, to be honest. 5 losses, 5 KO losses. He's tapped to strikes. He's been knocked out cold. It sets up, I think, favorably with this poor gas tank for a fighter like Tyson Pedro, who in his last fight was very patient, looked for his opportunity, and minus 730. That's tough. I would say the fight minus 1400 for it to not go the distance. Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm sure there's some people that look at, the method of victory as decision at plus 650 here, and they think that's favorable, and we've seen that before, but Harry Hunsucker's a special type of bad gas tank, It's exciting initially, and then it just turns it turns rough for him, So yeah, they like the Tyson Pedro KO. With Harry's loss record, you see why. Minus 280, I don't think I want to chase that. Maybe I would do, like, for, let's see, fight lines. Yeah. Man, under 1.5 is minus 410. What are we doing? Is there a same game parlay we could do? Minus. Fucking kidding. And then you could throw in, like, that he has, I don't know. I was going to say, sometimes you can find most knockdowns in these odds. And that's like a really, if you think someone's going to win via KO, like that's a really, I mean, maybe I wouldn't parlay this, but maybe I'm just I don't know, just to get him, maybe I would place this bet. If there was knockdowns too, most knockdowns, and I could lower this to like the low minus 200s or high minus 100s, I would be excited. The KO, gets you minus 145. He is a good jiu-jitsu artist, though, Pedro. I wouldn't be shocked if Pedro had that submission. But I think I would do just something like this at minus 295. I don't know. We're moving on. I'm just trying to find something, I would be willing to put money on, and I don't. Let's rewind that back. Whatever I just said. I think Tyson Pedro I like, but as far as the method of victory, minus 550 for KO submission. I don't think Harry's gonna make it the full distance. I'll put it on Twitter. I'm gonna find something in like those parameters that makes sense to me, but I don't think Harry's gonna make it the full 15 minutes. Wu Yanan taking on Lucy Pudulova. Wu is 1-4 in the UFC. Lucy was like 2-5 in the UFC and got cut. Went like 4-1 out of the promotion. Now she's back. I back. She's back, and she's kind of a maniac. She absorbs a lot of strikes. She's got crazy pressure. I would give her the stand-up advantage in this fight. I think Wu could win this fight, but she would need to score takedowns and hold down Lucy. I think I'm going to go with Lucy on the money line here at minus 125. We'll see what the odds are updated to. Minus 125. Yeah, I mean, if I was Vegas, I would say this is going over. So I like the Lucy via the decision. But if we are looking at Wu, she does have a lot of output for sure. I mean, you can see it on the strike chart here. But only one knockout loss. I don't think she would get knocked out by Lucy. Lucy only has 2 knockout wins. Lately, she's just been winning unanimous decisions. She just pushes forward and punches back, you know? And she's trying to outpace you. So I think, I mean, if there was like a, let's see, prop bet. I mean, maybe that's a decent bet, right? Just do the over on significant strikes. And then, just so you can place the bet, you choose a random, like, you know, another random thing to bet. I think the output from these two is going to be there. So maybe that's not like a bad play. I do like Lucy on the money line. Like I said, I think she's going to win a boxing matchup. I think it'll probably be a decision, plus 130 there. But, yeah, I'm just thinking of other fun bets. That was minus 160 for over a half a round and 40 plus strikes in the first round. So you know you've cashed your bet after the first round. Yeah, Lucy's a little bit better, but Wu, I mean, if Wu comes in here with a good game plan to drill takedown, she could win. I think she should look for a takedown or two in order to. I think that's a good game plan. Jose Aldo taking on Marabu. Marab. I've heard it a million times pronounced, but I can't do it. Valadivici. Jose Aldo against Valadivici. Jose Aldo, the king of Rio. I would give him a striking advantage in this matchup. Marab, relentless takedowns, relentless pressure, great cardio. But we've seen, and I know he's not the same fighter, but we've seen Jose be very successful against high-level grapplers. Thinking back to, Edgar, Chad Mendez, twice, both of them. Uriah Faber. Volkanovski was 0 for 3 on takedowns against Aldo, but 1 on strikes. So, I mean, he can fend off the takedowns, I believe, and I think he's got the better stand-up. Maybe Marab's just a different animal, right? Like maybe he's the best grappler Jose Aldo's ever faced, or maybe Jose's old age is catching up to him and he's not able to fend off these takedowns. But I mean, he's been around since when the UFC absorbed WEC. He's been around for 11 years now. And just, you're not taking him down. It's just not happening. So, yeah, maybe Marab And I do think Jose's cardio can get tested at times. Maybe Marabu can take him down, but I think Jose can hurt him too. So I kind of like... I think my first underdog prediction of this card is going to be Jose Aldo at plus 120. I think he can do it. I think he can fucking do it. I think he can fend off the takedowns. I think he can piece him up a little bit. Hit him with some stuff on the feet and win this fight. I would say, yeah, it's going to be a decision. I don't think Marabu's going to get that finish of Jose. I think Jose could hurt Marabu. Like, this is a big step up in competition, too, for Marabu. He did have the win against Marlon Moraes, but different opponent. Not as good in the takedown and jiu-jitsu department, in my opinion. Dodson, excellent grappler, and he was able to wrestle him. So we know Marabu's wrestling's there. I think as far as like a round robin play, I think I do like this decision prediction. And then I think if I'm going to place any single kind of fight bets, I would probably go with Jose Aldo. Maybe there's an opportunity here where I could parlay a Jose Aldo pick with most significant strikes. Yeah, maybe I would do something like that just to get a little more bang for the buck. Just an idea. Next fight, we've got Paulo Costa taking on Luke Rockhold. I mean, I like both of these fighters. Luke hasn't fought for a little while. I like both of these fighters. The last, Costa, his 13-2, his last two fights. We've seen those losses. Marvin Vettori and Israel Adesanya. Luke Rockhold, he's 1-3 in his last fights. And it's crazy to think about this, but that first loss, he lost to Bisping, right? He lost the belt. And then he knocks out Dion Branch, right? Wait, that's not Dion Branch. What's his name? David. Then he gets knocked out by Yoel Romero. Knocked out by Blachowicz. Now he's back down to 185. I mean, Luke Rockhold's a terrific fighter. Paulo Costa at minus 360 seems a little excessive in my head. I'm not that confident on it, but I think Paulo Costa is probably going to knock out Luke Rockhold. And if he doesn't, I think Paulo Costa's style is set up in a way he went to a decision against Yoel Romero, but he's looking to get in a car crash, and he's just banking on, him being more powerful and dishing out more damage. I think I think Luke Rockhold's a little bit better in all aspects of fighting, from a stand-up, kickboxing perspective, striking perspective, to jiu-jitsu on the mat. I just think Luke Rockhold's better. But, yeah, I think stylistically, Paulo Costa, he's, like I said, just looking to cause a car crash. So if Luke Rockhold can hurt him early, to fend him off, like, that's great. I think this fight, just because of Paulo Costa on his side of things, is set up to be a finish. Like, I don't know why I feel like this is for sure not going to go the distance. Minus 280. I mean, let's look at Paulo. His 13 wins, right? 13 wins. 11 are KOs. 1 submission. So he's got 12 finishes. Luke Rockhold, he's only got 2 decision wins. Like, he's dangerous in his own right. So I feel like this is set up, where this fight is not going to go to a decision. I wouldn't be surprised if, either fighter, someone catches the other fighter. I think the odds are kind of crazy. Like, as far as how we perceive Paulo in this fight. Just because he hasn't been terrific. I mean, and we can look at the numbers too. Like, Luke Rockhold, he's not going to wrestle him like Marvin Vettori. He does have the jiu-jitsu. That's not his style, though. He's not going to wrestle him. We've seen him face other big punchers, and he's going to strike with them and try and hurt him back. So, and then we saw Paulo get knocked out by Israel. He got caught. I think it's possible that Luke catches him, but I'm pretty sure Paulo's going to catch him first. So, and Luke, just glass jaw from what we've seen from him. Bisping, Yoel, who else? Blachowicz, like, glass jaw. Blachowicz got him with the jab. He'd get me with the jab too. I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is unheard of. A UFC fighter getting knocked out. Me from the computer. That would never happen to me. I'd freaking duck out of the way and punch him 12 times. He'd be knocked out after the 6th punch, wake up from the 8th, be knocked out from the 9th, hit the mat by the 12th. Kamaru Usman taking on Leon Edwards. Kamaru Usman, just obviously terrific UFC career thus far. I think his 2 best wins are Colby Covington and Colby Covington. Looking at his fight history here, Gilbert Burns is a great win too. Especially after getting tagged. But yeah, I think his 2 best wins are Colby and Colby. I really don't know what Leon has to offer that Kamaru hasn't seen. This is the 2nd fight between them too, and Leon's been terrific. We'd have to give him like a technical advantage in the striking department, right? I think he's going to be more technically sound. He's a different striker than who Kamaru is knocked out in Gilbert Burns and Jorge. Stylistically, he's a much different striker. But the path to victory is the takedowns, right? The wrestling. I think Usman can compete on the feet, and I think he can wrestle. I think what we're going to see is just Usman basically pushing the clinch work, like this fight's gonna play out in the clinch, and it does with Usman when he's fighting this way where he wants to win 5 rounds, right? Or you know what I mean? He wants to, win a 5-round decision. He's gonna push the fight up against the fence, and Ryan, I agree. I think Costa is probably done with the UFC. It's his last fight on his contract. I think he's probably done, for sure. He is kind of crazy, man. I would try and bring him back because he's entertaining, right? And he's young too, right? How old is Paulo? Like Luke Rockhold's 37. Costa is 31. Yoel, he didn't come into the UFC until like 38. And Costa's, he's not the same as Yoel Romero at all. It's a kind of a... But he's pushing the boundaries of that 185 division with his weight and physique. He's about as big as you can get for that weight class, and I think that's interesting. But yeah, if he's gonna lose to Marvin Vettori and Whitaker and some of those fighters, like, I don't know if you keep him around. Apparently he was also... So, dude, Paulo Costa, I'll show you in a bit. He's a hilarious Twitter follow, too. That's a dude, if you're not following him on Twitter, he's just goofy as hell. But I don't know about that, Bobby. I mean, I don't want to say anything I shouldn't, but he's Brazilian, and I don't know if it's I don't know what you're talking about. Paulo Costa was hitting nurses when they asked for proof of COVID cards. I don't know about that, but he flipped off USADA today. He threatened to show his butt like Patty Pimblett on the scale. Back to this, Kamaru Usman. I really don't know. Like, I think Kamaru is a really, really, really good fighter. I think if we're looking at this division, 170. This is welter, right? Yeah. If we're looking at this weight class, I think it's the dudes with the best wrestling that are gonna give Kamaru the biggest test, right? So it's not Leon. It's not Stephen Thompson. It's not Masvidal. It's not Luque Magny. It's Colby. It's Hamzat. It's Gilbert. It's Bilal. Sean Brady. I think those are the guys that are going to be the toughest matchups for Kamaru moving forward. I think Usman beats Leon. Rolling with Usman on the money line. Yeah, unless we just see like a possessed Rocky Edwards who's just like... If he busts out the Roboto during the fight and he's like just dodging punches from Kamaru and stopping takedowns, maybe, but I think it's a tough fight for Leon to win stylistically. So I'm rolling with Kamaru. I think it does go the distance at -150. I don't think this is the fight we see Kamaru stop his opponent. It's just my opinion. I think it's going to be a Kamaru Usman decision. minus 120, which is shit. So I would probably use him as a parlay piece, right? Okay, the next thing, I've got this beautiful itinerary I left up for you guys. The next thing we've got after UFC picks and predictions, parlay ideas. That's the next thing I want to get to. So I think parlay ideas. I think I like Amir. I think I like Sean Woodson. Man, plus 127 only. Man, are these my only parlay pieces? Maybe, I'm just hesitant to do it. I do like Paulo here, but like, oops. I'm just throwing some bets that I like, I guess, in here, in addition to what we've already picked here. Kind of like, you know, we labeled it parlay ideas, but like just kind of like core bets, right? Stuff that I'm anchoring other money line picks to, and Pedro. Yeah, so it's not the best in the world. But those are the locks, you know? Those are what I like. I mean, I like Paulo Costa, but if I could just bet inside the distance for a cheaper price, that might make sense. So that concludes our UFC 278 pick and prediction segment. Now we get into the shit. Explore. Oh, I need New England to win, baby. You see that score, Bobby? Oh. I placed some bets tonight. I was betting on the Angels, the Padres, the Patriots. I did take, I think, the underdogs in the other two games, so the Saints and the Rams, and the other two football games tonight. So let's get this out of the way. Saints are down 3 at halftime, but New England's up, baby. And then let's check MLB. Damn, Baltimore's in Boston. Huge score. Oh no. Oh my gosh, the Angels won 1-0. Alright, and then I got San Diego. Who else is winning today? Interesting. All right. Well, I just wanted to check up on some score lines. controversial kickboxer Andrew Tate banned from Instagram and Facebook. I mean, I think banning people is kind of stupid from platforms. But I mean, I've listened to some Andrew Tate. Like, he just, I don't know, he was just blowing up, right? On TikTok, YouTube, you know, he just kept popping up. So he for sure made a splash in the social media game. I don't know. I don't know for what reason he got banned. I know he says a lot of controversial stuff. I don't think controversy should necessarily be a banned. Like, controversy, like, that means controversy. That means, like, people disagree on something, right? People disagree on everything. So I don't think controversy is a reason to get banned unless your company or your agenda is what is Andrew Tate is going against. And I think he's doing like somewhat of a character, you know, somewhat of a character he kind of settles into in his streams and stuff. But I don't know. Fuck Facebook. Fuck Instagram. Fuck Zuckerberg, that lizard. We've got AMC and Ape coming to your wallets, your brokerage accounts. If you're an AMC holder, you're getting Ape dividend on Monday. I'm super excited for this. I'm very excited for this. Fuck yeah. Let's see. Ladder attacks, pump and dumps, FTDs, FUD, dark pools, payment order flow, Jim Cramer, AMC. Alright. Trade Trades is... He was one of the first ones on it. He's a little weird. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited to get the Ape coin. I think the excitement around this is like, so there's this theory and this idea that there are something called naked shorts, which exists in the market. It is unreported and rehypothecated shares that are distributed to buyers in a buyer's market. So, you know, there's an argument to be made, like there are a lot of shares, right, in circulation for AMC at 516 million, but short sales, like, that adds sale orders to that float, right? So if we're like thinking of this from a logic, that adds that to the float. So, like, basically this Ape coin, because, you know, you need to have an oversold, like, stock in order to have short sales, right? So, like, because if 516 million people own a stock and someone wants to open up a position where they're selling that stock, even if it's just one, then it's 516. Like, let's use simple terms. If it's 10 shares is the float, and someone who doesn't own the stock, they're not long on the stock, they want to sell the stock because they think it's going to go down. So they're like, I want to sell 2 shares. Now there's 12 shares out there, right, that have been bought. So Ape's just going to force short sellers out of their position is my belief, I think. But we'll see what ends up happening. We'll see what ends up happening, because it's a 1-to-1 award. So if you own AMC, you're awarded this ape dividend. But you know, if there's only so many ape dividends that are handed out, and brokerage accounts owe their customers this dividend, it could get pretty interesting. Oh, here it is. Someone says their preferred equity units are in their computer share account. So that's how they're being distributed, is through computer share. I personally haven't. I looked into it one time, and honestly, people say it's bad, but it's not bad. But I just couldn't figure out the computer share shit. It says if they haven't delivered them yet, they're owed immediately. Contact your broker today. We'll see if I'm checking right now if I've got them. So I do not have mine yet. I don't have mine yet. So, 8:19. It's almost 9 o'clock. I should have them, but it's saying it's okay. Well, I'll message them. TV CEO. Oh, we've got the new Game of Thrones coming out. What's going on with Colby? I'm not sure. TV CEO insults Emilia Clarke in front of Game of Thrones fans, and it doesn't go well. Citadel. Just trying to get in the news for other stuff. Jose Aldo, COVID, Nikita, Masvidal. What are we talking about here? Fidelity is trending, probably. Ape shares. Yeah, everyone's talking about these ape shares. So, I gotta email them or message them. Fucking cocksucking motherfuckers. Alright, trending. Saints, Tyler Davis, Life After Lockup. Who gives a fuck? Alright, I think we gotta sign off the stream here, because there's not really anything interesting, in my opinion, going on. A Minnesota nobody who knew somebody was the first to break news that USC wanted to join the Big Ten. Who cares? Who cares? Alright, let me check scores one more time. Alright, so I've got New Orleans, the Patriots, the Rams, the Angels, and the Padres, who I'm rooting for tonight. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. You got my right here, my Twitter. My Twitter. If you follow me, I'll tweet out some picks. I like to play some in the morning. Most of my picks, so we'll get those done. I appreciate everyone tuning in who watched. TGIF. Thanks for tuning in. I'm signing off. This is KO Bets. Thank you very much.